Welcome to Moments with Marianne. This is your host, Marianne Pastana, and I am so excited to be celebrating 10 years of meaningful conversations with you. As we step into our new primetime hour, it's such an honor to share this exciting new chapter with you. So whether you're starting your day out, headed to work, or listening from wherever you are, this hour is designed to bring you thoughtful dialogue, fresh insight, and inspiring stories so you can make every moment count. So thank you for being here with me today, and let's dive in. We're here today with special guest Lori Dyan, who's here to share with us her new book, Burn Your Shit: The Life-Changing Magic of Rituals. So what if releasing what no longer serves you could open the door to real change? Well, today's guest is here to share with us just that. Lori Dyan is a tarot expert, two-time national best-selling author, and sought-after speaker, with more than 35 years of experience working with tarot as a practical tool for insight and transformation. Known for her grounded, modern approach, Lori helps people move from uncertainty to clarity, not by predicting the future, but by teaching them how to trust themselves. So welcome to the show, Lori Dyan.
Thank you so much for having me, Marianne. I'm really happy to be here.
Oh my goodness, what an honor it is to have you here and to talk about this book. I mean, what a great read. What inspired you to write this?
Well, I've been doing rituals on my own as a participant, as a leader for decades. I'm a professional tarot card reader. And I actually had written a book about tarot, and that is a book, that proposal got me an agent and got me a meeting with HarperCollins. And when I was in the meeting, they said, we like your writing and tarot, sure, but what about rituals? You do this burn your shit thing on Instagram Live every full moon, and that sounds intriguing. And so I said, well, that's the idea for my second book. It's all about rituals, when I really had no idea for a second book, but I was like, absolutely, that's the book I'm writing. And so that's how I ended up with the book. But the rituals within it are the accumulation of the work I've done for the last 30 years as a tarot reader.
Well, it seems that you really have a play on words with your books, you know?
Big deck energy, all about tarot, yes.
So very, very interesting as well. So when you talk about your book centering around rituals, can you share a
Mhm.
little bit about like what those look like?
Well, a ritual is really a habit infused with loving intention. Whether you're blowing out birthday candles, meeting for a book club, doing the wave at a baseball game, those are all rituals. They're the thing that connect us to ourselves and each other, the divine, and they are really woven through the fabric of humanity. We really rely on rituals, and a ritual can be anything from the skincare routine that you do every morning, but when you set that time for yourself and you're intentional about it, that's what sort of transforms it into a ritual. And there are so many physiological as well as psychological benefits to rituals. And you can also be, dancing naked under a full moon, burning letters to exes. It can be as esoteric or as mundane as suits you. But I like the idea because I call the tagline for any of the work I do, I refer to it as woo woo without the cuckoo. So it gives you a sense of how I approach things. I want it accessible for people. I want it to be fun and engaging, not scary or intimidating. And that's what I wanted to do with this ritual book is show you from the scientific to the esoteric how rituals can really impact and benefit your life. And you're doing them anyway. So why not be a little bit more aware of it?
So how is my coffee ritual then something that's impacting my life in a positive way? And then how can I explore in using another ritual that might be a little bit more pushing the boundaries?
Little witchier? Sure. Well, the coffee ritual, I mean, some people they're just like grabbing it out of the Keurig and running out the door. But if you take that time every morning, you use a specific mug, you're taking that time, you do it a certain way, you add the cream and then the sugar. There's a certain like pattern to it. And it's really just in carving out that moment for yourself, even if it's just a few minutes. That's what makes it really special too, is you're sort of indicating to yourself, the people around you, but also, the universe at large, I'm worthy of this prioritization of my time in this moment. And even if you're lucky enough to be able to like sit down and enjoy it rather than grab and go for the car, it can, again, it's just, it activates your parasympathetic nervous system. It regulates you, even though it's caffeine and it's coffee, but that's what makes it into a ritual. It's like this moment that is a way to ground yourself and be present in that moment. And then an example of something that is a little bit more out there. There's, some people do journaling. A lot of people do journaling, and journaling can be a very beautiful ritual that you do. But if you want to get kind of witchier with it, I call it writing wild. It's also known as automatic writing, where you just start writing. You set a timer on your phone for a minimum of 5 minutes, ideally 10, and you just write whatever wants to come out. You do not censor yourself in any way about punctuation, penmanship, content, and you just uncensored everything that's on your heart, your mind, your soul onto the page. And even if you're just writing, I have to pee, this is dumb, why did I say I would do this, how much time has gone by, you're not allowed to stop moving that pen unless you're turning the page. And what happens is, if you give yourself enough time, then you start really getting into it, and you may start writing in using words you wouldn't normally use, or writing about that thing that happened in grade 3 when that person stole your Barbie doll, and how it impact, you can make these wild connections. It's almost like lucid dreaming, where you're awake but in an altered state. So something like that, if you can have a ritual to do that in the morning or evening, can be a really beautiful way to sort of recalibrate and reset you, but also to access that kind of higher wisdom, or that intuitive knowing that we don't always have access to in the day to day, when we're caught up in all the mess of the day.
Well, it sounds almost like it's tapping in some ways to our subconscious and then
Hmm.
also to our higher self. So we've got a little bit of
Right.
a couple things happening there.
That's absolutely true. And I think that sometimes, I don't know, the lines are a bit blurry for me between our higher consciousness and the collective consciousness. I think it's all different elements of the same soup.
That's a good way of putting that. I like how in your books you describe rituals as releasing what no longer serves us. Can you share on that for us?
I sure can. That is really from the title of the book, Burn Your Shit, which is my little signature full moon fire ritual I do on Instagram Live every full moon, 8 p.m. Eastern, rain or shine. I'm up in Canada. I've done it in raging blizzards, hailstorms. I'll show up no matter what. And what's really interesting is, when you take an action, behind an intention. So we're writing down on slips of paper, I now choose to release. And whatever comes to mind, I always lead people through a very brief grounding exercise. But, I now choose to release anger towards that person, or shame about that thing, or whatever it is. And you light it on fire. It doesn't have to be under a full moon, but the energy of the full moon is very releasing. So we're harnessing those lunar vibes to give the whole thing a little extra juice. But you could do it on a random, Tuesday morning. But you say, I now choose to release la la la. You light it on fire. And as the words start to burn, you say, and so it is. And I now choose to release la 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 la. And so it is. And seeing those words disappear before your eyes is really empowering and cathartic. You can write letters to a house that won't sell, or a job you're ready to leave, or an ex who is still living rent free in your mind. And I once wrote a letter to my uterus because my naturopath told me I was being really hard on myself, and particularly my uterus, because I'm like dealing with fibroids and all these things. I was like, I don't even want my stupid uterus. And she's like, oh, write it a letter. And, you can write a letter to a younger version of yourself, and then have that younger version respond in a letter. And then you burn it all. And it's really, there's a tangible act happening with the fire, burning the paper, but just energetically as well. It's closing a chapter. And what's really amazing is people send me stuff to burn on their behalf from all over the world. People join this thing from Panama, Kenya, Italy, Australia, Utah, down the street from me. And someone from Denmark sends me something to burn, and I often do reframes, which is really kind of channeled. I'll do sometimes reframe what people send, or I'll combine them because there are so many similarities. And that's a thing too, is people realize they're more alike than they are different when they hear me burning something that they really resonate with. So I'm burning Denmark's thing, thinking, oh my gosh, it's like I wrote it. And then you're watching where you are thinking, ooh, this tracks. And it's as much our release as it is Denmark's. And everyone after just feels lighter. There's this unburdening that is, it's kind of inexplicable, but it is also undeniable.
I find it very fascinating when I've been in group sessions with people that it's spiritual sessions. Everyone's coming up. You'll see groups of people come up with the same type of issue
Mm.
or same type of question. So one, and I could see how this really applies to your group as well, is you have one person come up with something and it applies to so many other people. Is that, do you think, because spirit is just finding a way to maybe push the easy button on things and get it all done for a few people, or we are all coming together because we need to address an issue?
Well, I think it speaks to that collective consciousness as well, that we are more alike than we are different. So we are all faced at various times with fears and worries, or stress around financial insecurity, or someone who's died, and dealing with grief, or leaving a relationship or a marriage, or um, body image issues. There are so many universal themes that are really impacting us, and that we really need to unburden ourselves, and to do it in a collective rather than just doing it yourself. Because I tell people, you go burn your shit, rip the paper, as long as it's not a big wad, over your toilet bowl, and flush it. Flushing is very cathartic too. You don't have to be burning it under a full moon with me. But when you have this, I call it a collective coven, when we're all on this Instagram live, um, it's just, it amazes me to this day, and I've been doing it every month for years and years now, how much of a group experience it is. And I think it's because, and we're all craving connection. And even though we're more connected than ever before with the internet, we've never felt more disconnected and alone in many ways.
Does intention play a large part in this whole process?
Intention is everything. It is the root of all of it. And I say that about my tarot too. It's um without intent, any action you take is preceded by intention. And it's like, if I could take a ritual or a tarot card, just like I could take a hammer, and I could use that hammer to hang a beautiful picture for you, or I could use that hammer to bash in your windshield of your car. It's the intention behind it, right? And so when you know what it is that you are desiring, or that you are, ready to let go of, or call in, or whatever it is, when you get clear on that intention, then you've got a place that, like, that's the starting point.
So let's pivot to your second book, Big Deck Energy. So can you share a little bit about that book with us?
Sure. I mean, it's, long story short, it's 35 years of what I've been doing in a book. It's not only my interpretation of the cards, because you do develop a dialogue with your deck over time, and the interpretation of a card can evolve alongside you. And so I talk about not only the Tarot 101, because you can get that online for free, but also my evolved interpretations, which often have homework, which are often rituals, like the ones that were talked about in Burn Your Shit. But then I also talk about the history of tarot, and also how tarot is a tool for self discovery, and tarot is a creative prompt. Tarot gives you a little peek behind the curtain to see what's going on energetically, and then you have free will. So what you choose to do with it is up to you. So not only what tarot is, but what it isn't. It is not devil worship, satanic nonsense. It is not a prophecy or fortune telling. It's more like life coaching, or instead of being, the scary fortune teller in the back alley, it's more like your wise aunt who's seen some stuff, and is telling you what's what.
I think that makes it so much easier because in many ways it's just like this spiritual aunt that's giving us advice, as opposed to, I mean, a lot of times people think of tarot like how you said, it's like the scary person in an alleyway, when it's not really like that.
Absolutely. There are so many. I mean, it's popular culture, right? There's always, on the Netflix rom-com, there's the creepy fortune teller lady with the tarot cards, giving you the prophecy to say goodbye to grandma or all the horrible stuff. And I always tell people again, it's the woo-woo without the cuckoo. And my mission with my work is inspire, empower, and enlighten. And I tell people there are no bad tarot cards. There are just bad tarot card readers, and I'm not one of those. So again, a card like the devil, you can show someone and say, "Oh, you're cursed. It'll cost you $20,000 to remove it." Or you could say, "Okay, this devil is your shadow, and here's why it's showing up, and here's some things you can do to address it."
Well, that falls right in alignment with shadow work that we hear about all the time. So that's not anything different.
Well, exactly. And, I think one of the main reasons I wrote the book as well, because the Big Deck Energy the first draft, it changed a bit to what was published, but the first draft was really also a reaction to me seeing Super Soul Sunday with Oprah or hearing Glennon Doyle talk or Brene Brown talk and thinking, well, they're talking about the tower. Well, they're talking about the high priestess. Well, they're talking about the page of cups. And I start to realize that every, challenge or opportunity or lesson could be informed or guided through tarot. It was all there. It was just coming in different forms. And so that's why I wanted to write the book that I wrote is more not just here are these tarot cards, here's how you can, have fun with your friends. It was more like here's how you can really inform and change your life by using these cards as a mirror for what's going on internally and externally.
So, how do the two books work together? Because I'm pretty sure that they do.
They really do. Like I said, a lot of the homework I give in my readings is elaborated on or expanded upon in Burn Your Shit. But ultimately, the work that I do, I want to help people, live the best versions of their lives as the best versions of themselves. And I don't want people to have to rely on going to this healer or that thing, even though we absolutely need support. But there are so many things we can do for ourselves that really, don't cost anything and can be done anywhere, anytime. So that's kind of what I want with my work is to just get it in the hands of as many people as possible because I know how profound and lasting the impacts and the shifts can be once you work with these tools.
You have a chapter in Burn Your Shit that I thought was pretty impactful. It's manifesting for dummies. So, can you share a little bit about that for us?
For sure. I always say manifesting is so much more than the ding dongs in front of their vision board that are just like, when am I going to Paris? When am I getting married? It's about being really clear and focused on an intention or an objective, however you want to call it, and do a vision board or journal or daydream, whatever works for you. But follow up that intention, that clarity of intention with some inspired action and get those little baby steps going in that direction. And then you just forget the path, and don't worry about when or how, because that's not our business. We want to focus on the what and the why. And you don't want to try and plan and plot and visualize all of the steps because it can diminish or smother that magic. You want to just be open to, okay, God, Buddha, universe, all the things. Here's what I want, and here's what I'm doing to get it. Now, what have you got for me? Like, how are you going to help? And be open to seeing the weird little stepping stones and synchronicities and clues and breadcrumbs that show up to get you there or somewhere better. And if you can be open to that kind of intention, inspired action, and then let life unfold, see what happens, this or something better. It's amazing. That's how I got a 2-book deal with HarperCollins, fully manifested that.
I like the phrase this or something better because I think a lot of times we put our focus on, well, I've got to have that guy or that job or
Mhm.
that house, and we miss out on all the something better.
Exactly. We don't know what we don't know. Right? And there are so many factors at play that are beyond our control. And who are we to think? How dare we have the hubris to think that, it's all on us? And that is really relieving to be able to be like, okay, well, I have this goal and I'll do the work to get towards it and be really clear and do my visualizing of having already achieved it and all those things. And then also I'll go live my life, and I'll have other goals that I'm working towards and just kind of see what shows up and then follow the heat, follow the next right thing, do the next right thing.
In your book, you talk about how rituals can really help people move out of anxiety and into clarity. Can you explain
Mhm.
how that works?
When we do a ritual, it's often like when you're doing a sport where you have to really focus and be intentional, and be present. And it's in that presence that you are activating that parasympathetic nervous system. So it's getting you from that place of fight, flight, freeze to a place of rest and digest and create and strategize. So even if you're just counting out the coffee beans to get the same number of coffee beans every morning, like Benjamin Franklin used to do for your morning coffee, and then making the coffee, or think of like a Japanese tea ceremony, back to the morning drinks. It's so funny because I don't even drink coffee, but creating that beverage moment for yourself, you're being very grounded and present. So you can't help but regulate yourself. And that's where the physiological, psychological, emotional benefits come from.
So we've talked about how to kind of start our day because I'm on the coffee because I drink coffee. How do we end our day in intention?
Well, it's just there's so many ways. I mean, something like meditation or reading a book, having a bath, doing the skincare. And again, the skincare could be slapping water on your face, slapping on some Cetaphil, going to bed, or it could be, you know what, I'm going to take this time to just like wash my face and put on the yummy serums, and I'm going to do the little face scrapey thing with the stone thingy, and then I'm going to, get in the bath. I'm going to put on my robe. Like, again, it's that self care. You're taking that time, you're getting present and grounded, but you're also just like loving on yourself. And that is helping in ways that are immeasurable as well. And even doing something to set yourself up for success the next day, like getting your clothes ready for work the next day, getting your lunch ready. That can be a ritual as well, because you are saying, like, today me cares about tomorrow me and is going to do tomorrow me this solid right now by getting everything ready. And even just taking, 5 intentional breaths to start or end your day, in through the nose, out through the mouth, and inhale, fill your belly, a nice deep diaphragmatic breaths, and maybe hold it for a couple of seconds at the top, and then exhaling longer than you inhale, like in for 5, hold for 5, out for 8. You do that 5 times in the morning and afternoon, it can be a game changer.
So, in your book, you talk about how we can pull a card a day and it really kind of helps start our day. Can you share that with us?
Well, sure. I do that on Instagram every day during the week. I still leave my weekends for me. But I pull a card every day, and it's kind of like a little tarot scope, as I refer to it. And it's really funny because when I started doing it years and years ago, half the time, and it still happens to me, where I'll be posting it thinking, why am I posting this for everyone? This is obviously a message just for me because it tracks just for me. And then I'll get the messages, the DMs all day long. Oh my gosh, this is my message. How did you know? Ba, ba, ba. And even people finding it months later. It doesn't have to be on the day. It's just the message finds you when you need it. That's sort of the magic of tarot. That's why you don't even need a deck. You could just use my book, Big Deck Energy, and just flip through the pages. What do I need to know today? And doink, pick a page, and that card is your message. So I pull these cards, I post them every day, and it's like take what works and leave the rest. It's something to ponder, something to consider. And often people will hear it in the morning and then go about their day, and they'll get a DM at the end of the day going, "Oh my gosh, I wish or actually, it's often they'll see it at the end of the day and say, I wish I'd seen this in the morning because I really could have used that message." Or, oh, thank God I heard this because it really helped me with whatever.
I can see where that will resonate with so many people as they're going throughout their day. When they have that, they're like, oh, this is starting to make sense. It all clicks.
Yeah, it's just like a little check-in, with yourself. And again, even just watching card of the day, it's never more than 90 seconds. And it's just a little, this is 90 seconds where I'm just focusing. It's like a little bonbon for your brain.
Well, I understand you're going to do a special card pulling for us. I'm so excited. I can't wait.
Absolutely. Shall I do one for the collective? And then if you want, I can pull one for you specifically too.
Oh, yeah, let's do that. That sounds like fun.
Okay, so you're going to hear me knock the deck. I always knock a deck before I do any kind of card pull, whether it's a full reading or just one card, just kind of like an energetic palette cleanser. So that's what that is. And then do a little shuffling. And first, I will ask, what does Marianne's gorgeous audience need to know today? Oh, this is actually a big one. Tarot always comes through. There's some cards that are a little more boring than others, and tarot in interviews and things, it always comes through with a banger. The Eight of Cups. There's all these eight upright cups, and then this figure turning his back on these beautiful golden upright cups, and it looks kind of scary because the moon is out, right? And it's the moon represents the fears, doubts, insecurities, the unknown. Because this Eight of Cups is telling you to leave behind what no longer serves you. It may look good on paper, but it's spray painted tin. It's a cheap aluminum with a gold foil overlay. And around the corner, it's sunshine, rainbows, kitty cats. It's amazing, but he's not there yet. He's still in that act of turning his back, going, "Oh, my cups, my cups." So it's telling you if something's no longer serving you, go look for something that does. And it could be where you're living, where you're working, friendships, relationships, or it could be you eating dairy, how you deal with money, religion, politics. Just because something is a certain thing or way or person up until this moment doesn't mean it has to be that moving forward. And I always use career as an example because it looks so doomy gloomy. It could be going into an office tomorrow going, "I quit." Or it could be saying, "I'm going to get on LinkedIn and just start shifting in a new direction." Or it could be far more nuanced. Instead of saying, "Forget this job," saying, "Yeah, the way I deal with my team, they're not getting it. So I need a different approach and a different way in so they get it." So it can be more subtle. Or it could be someone that you've known for 30 years and you think, if I met you on the street, I don't even want to go for coffee. Like, why are we doing this? It's creating capacity for what's around the corner. So there is a card in here I refer to as the burn your shit card, where we're releasing what no longer serves us. This isn't a burn your shit card, but it's burn your shit adjacent.
I like that card. I think that's a really powerful card.
A good one, right? And then I'm going to pull one just for you, okay? I'll
Okay.
send you pictures of these after too, so you have them.
Sure.
What does Marianne need to know right now? Again, tarot coming through big. So you have the Temperance card, and this is a good
Ooh.
example of how cards can evolve over time. I'm teaching this tarot intensive right now where I really mentor people on developing their own dialogue with the deck, because Tarot 101, this is an example of that. The Tarot 101 of Temperance is to have balance between head and heart, work and play, hot and cold, all the things. But for me, goes in a different direction, telling you whether you like it, want it, believe it or not. That whole realm of energy comprised of the angels and spirit guides and those who've passed are there for you, like indulgent parents that just want to give you everything. But it's not like Whoopi Goldberg where they come in and, meddle in your business like in Ghost. You have to invite that energy in and work with it. And the Temperance card is asking you to do more of that. And this card in this reading in this moment is an opportunity for that. So if you wanted a sign, there's your sign on a silver platter. And people have their own way of dealing with this energy. I always share the thing I've developed over time. And this is expanded on in the Burn Your Shit book, Talking to Your Angels. It's ask, acknowledge, and allow. Asking is just putting it out there. Go dance naked under the full moon, or talk to grandma while you brush your teeth, or pray on your knees at church and ask for help healing your body, guidance on next steps, give me a good price on a dishwasher, get me out of this jam. Just put it out there. And there's always the call and response, but it's not like you and I talking or touching. Instead, it's signs, symbols, tingles, feathers, dimes, all the woo-woo stuff you could easily write off. Like when you're driving, you hear a song on the radio and you think, "Oh my gosh, these lyrics are like therapy." Or someone, it gives you goosies because it reminds you of someone who passed, and it's that energy going, "We're on it." And you have to acknowledge those signs and say, "I see you, you're doing great, keep it up," because it keeps the channel open. And then the part everyone messes up, it's the most important, is the allowing. Because when everything starts going our way, we tend to freak out and go, "This is weird. When's the other shoe going to drop? What's going on?" And the energetic brakes just go, "Rrr," and everything that was building and building just kind of bleh. So you just have to breathe through it. "I deserve this. I'm worthy of this. There's enough for everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Let's do the next thing on the list because now I made a list." And it's like when you see a sports movie, there's always the big game at the end and the clock's ticking down, like, "Coach, put me in, the player on the bench." And this card is like that. It's saying, "Come on, Marianne, let's do this. It's not going to make things worse. Give it a shot. We're here." So ask, acknowledge, allow, especially because the cards always work together, even if we're asking different questions, especially when it comes to like leaving behind what no longer serves. Ask grandma or whoever to do you a solid and help you out with that. But this message of the angels specifically for you, and then that Eight of Cups, leaving behind what no longer serves, is for the collective and you, of course, as well.
Oh my gosh, that so resonates. That so resonates. You're so dead on. Well, my goodness. I mean, Lori, you're such an inspiration. Thank you so much. What a gift that was. I really appreciate that.
Well, thank you for letting me read for you. This was a treat. I just get all excited. I'm covered in goosies and sweaty, so I know it resonated too.
Well, where can our audience connect with you and be part of your community?
I'm on Instagram. I'm most active there at tarot.lori, tarot.lori, or just tarotlori.com. I'm up in Canada. All of my readings are on Zoom. I do actually events on Zoom as well, but I'm in LA a lot for my work. And I go all over the world for my work, really. But I do. A lot of people think I live in LA because I'm there a lot doing things. But yeah, on my website or Instagram, that's where you'll find me and my stuff.
Well, Lori, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show with us here today.
Thanks again for having me.
Well, thank you, Lori. It's been such an honor to spend this time with you and to talk about your new book, Burn Your Shit: The Life-Changing Magic of Rituals. Well, we're at the end of our time today. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. You're listening to Moments with Marianne, where we make every moment count.
In a single moment, your life can change. Moments with Marianne is a transformative hour that covers an endless array of topics with the best of the best. Her guests are leaders in their fields, ranging from inspirational authors, top industry leaders, and business and spiritual entrepreneurs. Each guest is gifted and a true visionary, a recognized leader in her own work, and while teaching others to develop, refocus, and grow, Marianne will bring the best guest and sometimes a special surprise. Don't miss this. You never know just which moment will change your life forever. Make sure to tune in and visit momentswithmarianne.com for more information.